Table elements are a great way to display tabular data, perhaps pricing information, charts, different sorts of things on your website, and there's a ton we can do here from a formatting perspective. You can see this example is a pricing plan with some buttons, some links, and those sorts of things. And another version of that, different versions here with side columns and another large table showing some different options when it comes to uh, formatting and the display of all your information. So let me show you how this works in the back end. We go to Content Elements and it's right here, Table, and let's go check out, we'll go down to one of the tables here, the last one down on the bottom, and so this is our data. It's really simple. So we've got our rows and our columns, right? So we can add a row just like that. We can move them up and down, and we can add columns, and we can move those across and configure them just how we want. Each of these have preset formats, so we can have a highlight column, we can have a description column, and we can have a center text column, or we can have a default column. So there's different options there. And as far as heading rows go, there's different options here as well. So a heading row, a default row, and maybe we want a pricing row, which allows stronger display for pricing information, and a button row. So that'll give us a chance to create a button and put right in there within the cell. Really cool, really versatile. Go ahead and play around with this. It takes a little getting used to, but a little trial and error, figuring out what settings you like. And in terms of aesthetics and layouts, you can see we've got some different options here. So these are different row settings and different column settings. Looks like these would be centered text. These are buttons, and we can create those, set the styling, set the linking, all of that. And this is more of a neat table, just a simple table with buttons down on the bottom, without buttons, and so some really cool options to play around with. And if we go to table options here, there's more options. So the purpose of the table, do you want it to be a pricing table or a tabular? Tabular data is more like this, and this is of course the pricing table. And the design could be minimalistic or the default, and we can have a table caption. So the caption would be just this little body of text over here that might explain, what the table is all about, or whatever you want to have there. And the styling is responsiveness when it comes to mobile screens. And you can make the entire table scrollable, or if you want it to adjust to the screen size. So if you make it scrollable, that means if your screen is limited in size, then it becomes scrollable and people can navigate to different parts of your table. Now, in this particular element, it might be worth noting the screen options here. So maybe you don't want to bother showing this on really small screen sizes. So your smartphone or even tablets, if you want to hide on very small screens, you can do that. And that way you've got a bunch of content, and when they get to the table, if they're on their phone, the table just won't show up. So that's an option you always have, especially when you've got a lot of data, you've got a large table, you may or may not want them to see that when they're on their phone if it's going to get in the way. So this is how our table element works. Really fun thing to play with. You can set it up and display all kinds of data in this type of element.